start making some hard cider. Simple, sweet, hard cider. What we're going to do is we're going to take, and like I said, this is a super simple recipe. Maybe one day when I have, like in 9 or 10 years, when I have my fruit orchard, I'll be able to have my own apples and fruit to make cider with, or various wines. But for now, we're using Sam's Best 100% apple juice. The main thing, if you're going to make cider with store-bought juice, you need to make sure that it doesn't have potassium sorbate in it. Potassium sorbate can and will kill the yeast in your brew. So, if you look on the ingredients and you see ascorbic acid, that's okay. Ascorbic acid, that's fine. That's basically vitamin C. So, but potassium sorbate, stay away from. It's bad. It's bad, bad, bad. So, before we start adding our juice, though, we are going to add in some dark brown sugar and light brown sugar. Yeah, so we're gonna take some apple juice, heat it up to dissolve this brown sugar so it's not a huge pain in the butt to try to get it to dissolve in the demijohn. Here we go! Okay, so we're doing two things now. I found some baking yeast, so I'm going to add a little bit of apple juice to this and put it in the microwave and get it hot, real hot, enough to kill the yeast. And this is going to be our yeast nutrient. I might add a little bit more in there because I don't really know exactly how much to put in there. I know whenever you use yeast nutrient, you don't put very much in there, but this isn't exactly yeast nutrient, so I might actually put a little bit more in there. Let's go ahead and put a little more in there. And from what I understand, you can use pretty much any Alright, you can pretty much use any bread yeast or baking yeast you want. Just got to make sure that it's dead. D-E-D, dead. So, get that. I'm going to take some apple juice. Using apple juice instead of water. Okay. Now I'm going to put this in the microwave for maybe a minute or two, and then I'll let it sit on the counter for a little bit, see if it starts bubbling, reacting, and if it does, then I'll put it in the microwave some more, and then watch it again, see if there's any activity, and kind of keep repeating that until I know there's no activity and the yeast is dead. Now while the yeast is in the microwave, dying a fast, rapid, microwaving death, we're going to dissolve some brown sugar. So like I said, I'm going to use 4 pounds of sugar at first, see what our gravity reading is, and then if I need to add more, I'll add more. I doubt I will want to add any less because I want the cider to also be as boozy as possible. So, last time I made this cider, the cider was 18% alcohol, so that's basically like drinking 3 Bud Lights. That's more than drinking 3 Bud Lights. So do your booze math, and every 3 beers you're drinking almost a 12-pack. So That's awesome. Less booze in your belly, and it's super cheap. So this 6 gallons can potentially last you a very long time. So we've got a dark brown sugar and our apple juice in there. I'll take the only whisk that I can find. Alright, so after the microwave's done, we'll put this in there, heat it up, pour it in here, and then do it again with the light brown sugar. And there we go. So the yeast is out of the microwave, and I am pretty sure this was boiling rapidly. And it looks like super creamer coffee. I really don't think any of the yeast survived, which is good. We like yeast murder when we're using it for yeast nutrient. So now to put the dark brown sugar cider juice in the microwave. Alright, so now we've got the brown sugar warmed up and dissolved into apple juice. Now we're going to go ahead and add our deceased bread yeast as our yeast nutrient. Yeah, that stuff's definitely dead. Now, all we gotta do is start pouring in the cider. Alright. Alright, so I didn't put the full 6 gallons in. I brought it up to here because we want some headspace in case the yeast goes insane. We don't want it to bubble up so much that it comes out of the airlock, because it could ruin the airlock and just be a mess. Alright, so here's the moment of truth. We are going to take our hydrometer. We're going to figure out what the specific gravity is. The specific gravity is basically going to show us what the sugar content is right now in the cider. So first, we always want to sanitize everything. So dip it in our sanitizer. It's already been washed. And now it's nice and sanitized with good old Star San. So basically this has different gravities, different measurements, bricks and this, that, and the other. It's pretty neat. So we want it to be, oh, what was it? I think 1.6, I can't remember. So right now it is at potential alcohol volume is at about 8%. So that's not great. So that's not too far off, I guess. But I'm going to add some extra just white sugar. See if we can't bring this up a little bit. Okay, so I added another 2 pounds of sugar and I brought the gravity up to 1.09, which is potentially around 13% alcohol. So that's pretty awesome. I'm not going to make it as strong as the last time. I just don't want to add any more sugar. But I think that'll be a nice, because the first batch was pretty harsh. I mean, it was tasty. You could definitely taste the booze. You'll still be able to taste the booze, definitely in this, but it'll be an easier drink. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, because there's nothing worse than thinking, oh, I'm just going to have a couple more ciders, and next thing you know, you wake up the next day and you don't know what happened. So drink responsibly, kids, always. All right, so I got the straps on. It's all put together. All I need to do now is shake it vigorously before I add the yeast, because you want there to be air in the must before you put the yeast in. And actually, that's something you want to do periodically. Just every once in a while, go out there and just give it a shake. So I'm just gonna grab this big old thing. There's not an easy way of doing it. So you just gotta pick it up like a big old baby. Hold it like a baby. Like a baby. Oh, you're gonna make me so happy. And then unhappy the next day. Oh. And then you realize it's gonna make you unhappy the next day. And you shake the piss out of it. Alright. When you see air bubbles coming up the sides, it's good. Alright, everybody. The moment of truth. This has only taken me, without recording and tending to the watermelon wine also, this probably would have taken me 30 minutes to do, tops. That's including washing, sanitizing, everything, and actually putting it all together. If I was in a hurry, I could probably do it in like 10-15 minutes. I mean, for real, this stuff is super easy, relatively cheap. If you have the carboy and the hydrometer and airlock, I mean, the hardware is an initial investment. $60 for the carboy. You can get them cheaper. You can get plastic ones for cheaper. I just like glass. And the cider, I think it costs like $20 at Sam's. Or the apple juice costs about $20 at Sam's. It's like $2 or $3 per, 68 ounce, I think. Anyway, but it's cheap and you can find it just about anywhere. Just watch out for the potassium sorbate. Ascorbic acid is okay. Anyway, you should try it. Okay. All right. So today we are using Lavlin 71B. I've heard this is better for ciders than Lavlin EC 1118. So we're gonna give it a try. And I got a really good deal on it. So that's what we're doing. So on the back of the package, it says to hydrate it and to activate the yeast. But I've always had personally better luck just pitching it dry directly into your brew. Personally. That's just me. If you want to try it by package instructions, go right ahead. Hopefully it works. If you pitch it in dry, good luck. I hope it works. And honestly, you can always pitch more yeast if it's not working. There's things you can do. So anyway, I'm just gonna rip this open. And we're gonna just sprinkle these little babies in here. Oh, look at them. Oh, look at them swimming around. I used a whole pack. One pack you can use for 1 to 5 gallons, or 1 to 6 gallons. So this should be enough. I'm seriously contemplating putting in another packet because no way. I could have sworn I already smelled carbon dioxide. That would be impressive. If that was the case, then I would definitely definitely recommend the 7-1B. Because if they were already turning that sugar into booze, then that fast. Anyway, you know what, folks? I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to try putting in another packet. I'm going to put 2 packets in. This just means, in my mind, that I'm going to have to take more hydrometer readings because I don't want it to get too dry and I don't want it to get burn up. And if I have to add more yeast nutrient, because I added quite a bit of yeast nutrient and there's quite a bit of sugar in here. So we should be good to add a second packet. So I'm going to add a second packet. Oh my. Look at them all go. Oh, we've already got some dropping. Alright. Alright, guys. The yeast is pitched. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to let it chill. Sit, I mean. We're going to re-sanitize our top. Gotta dunk it for a few seconds. Put this on, and there is a rubber gasket inside. You want to just snug it down. You don't want to over tighten it. Ooh, a lot of that yeast's already dropped. That's awesome. Okay. And we're gonna use an S-trap. An S-trap. And you can just use the same sanitizer water that you've been using in it. And there's little indicator lines, and I somehow accidentally got it just about perfect. I like to overfill them just a hair because it's going to be in there a while. So take your airlock, find the little cap. The little cap has tiny little salt shaker holes on the top to allow the carbon dioxide to escape. And then you gotta find a little bung plug. Little bung plug. You know, just take it, shove your S-trap through it, and then shove it into the thing. And there you go. Guys, it's seriously that simple. I'm gonna go take this down to the basement. I'm gonna let it sit for a day. I'll probably go check on it before I go to work tomorrow night and see if we've got any action. It might take a day or two before we start seeing some actual work being done by the yeast, but you want to keep your brews in a place where it stays pretty consistent temperature. A lot of brews work best between I believe 65 and 75 degrees. So if you've got like a basement or something like I do, and it usually stays about 65 to 75 degrees, that's perfect. Especially if you can keep the lights off the whole time, like in my basement. We pretty much never go down there unless we're stocking stuff down there for Armageddon or putting cider in or wine. But yeah, that's it, guys. It doesn't get much simpler than that. So thank you very much for checking out the cider making video. Hopefully you guys found this intuitive and informative. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and check out our Facebook, and coming soon, our Instagram. So, alright guys, take care, and stay tuned for the watermelon wine video. Later, guys. Look at that. Look at all that bubble action. That's gassing off real nice. That's the cider. Ooh. I don't know if you can see all the bubbles. It's like that all the way around. That yeast is working. It's working hard. I think that bread yeast nutrient really helped. Whew. Yeah. Then we got the wine over here. Oh yeah. The watermelon wine. And it's bubbling. Heck, just as much. It's got a lot more headspace too. That's awesome. And it smells like booze down here. It smells great. Oh.